time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Neely as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. This is our special coverage of SEC Football Media Days, and we are super pumped about this next segment as we get to talking about the LSU Tigers, and we're going to do that thanks to our friends at Front Porch Realty.
Our coverage of the LSU Tigers from SEC Media Days is being brought to you by Front Porch Realty and Property Management. Whether you are selling a home, listing your home for sale, or need assistance with managing your properties, Front Porch Realty has you covered. We're a brokerage built by family and community, and we are here to help you achieve your goals. Call us at 931-220-2557 today.
Joining us now is Scott Rabelais, who covers LSU and all things in the entire state of the boot. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you.
Thank you all for having me. It's fun to be here in your town, and things are happening here on Radio Row, man. This is
it's crazy. It's crazy.
You know, I've done this. I've covered LSU since 1992, and I've probably come to Media Days since 1996. And I still love being in the middle of it. You know, it's kind of silly and it's kind of crazy. And I've seen some silly, crazy things like Philip Fulmer getting a subpoena and Nick Saban's dog coming down the elevator to look for him when he was at LSU. But it's still fun because we're kicking off football, and we all, you know, if you cover this sports in this part of the world, you have to love football. So that's what makes it fun.
Now we're kicking off football on July 17th. It's been less than a month probably since you were in Omaha.
Actually, I was not in Omaha.
Did you not go?
I didn't. No, but I had a very good reason. My youngest daughter just graduated from high school, and she was in the choir, and her choir went on a tour of Italy, and they sang at the Vatican, and they sang at Michelangelo's church in Florence, and we went to Venice, and my son proposed to his fiancée on a ancient Roman bridge in Rome. So I had a very good reason for missing Omaha.
And I'd say you've got one hell of an excuse for missing Omaha.
Yeah, I had to go. It was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of trip. So LSU's playing the clinching game, you know, the deciding game against Florida. So we're in Assisi, Italy, this mountainside village. 1 a.m, this guy one of the other dads takes his TV out of his hotel room and puts it on this balcony, hooks it up to his phone, and we watched the game like that. And it worked great. I was shocked. I mean, 3.5 hours. We were sitting there in the middle of the night in Italy watching this game, and it was quite. So I wrote something about that. But no, I did not go to Omaha this year. I missed it a little bit.
So you did get a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Traveling back from Italy seems like a little bit tougher trip than Omaha, but you know what? It might not be.
I don't know. I think traveling back from Italy might be a little depressing because it's like, back to work.
Yeah, at least coming back from Omaha, you're going to a place that's likely better.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to take a shot at Omaha when I can.
Omaha's not a bad town, man. But
I like Omaha.
Yeah. Scott, what are your feelings about this team in year 3 of BK? Is that right?
Year 2.
Year 2?
Year 2. Yeah. First year last year, they come out of the box. They beat Alabama. They go to the SEC championship game, and won 10 games. So went to a good bowl. I think they're looking to build on that for this year. I think there's potential for LSU. And there's still reason for concern. And he addressed that today. He said how much. For example, they had to dip into the transfer portal to restock the defensive secondary, and that's not something they want to make an annual thing. They're trying to get out of that loop, and they haven't been able to do it in the first 2 years. So
is anybody going to get out of the loop of dipping into the transfer portal?
Yeah, no, not completely. And LSU is in all sports has done the transfer portal, I think, about as well as anybody. I mean, guys like Jaden Daniels coming in last year, Angel Reese in women's basketball, Paul Skeens in baseball, and Tommy White. So I think they've done it very well. So, but yeah, not being as dependent on it, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think the frontline talent is very good in LSU, and certainly they've got a lot of experience, a lot of guys coming back, a lot of starters coming back on offense. Yeah, a healthy number of starters coming back on defense. A player like Mason Smith, who got injured the very first game last year, and Kelly talked about the difference he can be on the defensive front. But there's not a lot of depth in some places. They've got to be really lucky and try to avoid injuries, and that's a hard thing to do, obviously, in the SEC.
You mentioned Jaden Daniels. As I was getting ready for this, I think 5 of the 14 teams are bringing a quarterback here, which kind of speaks to how unsettled that position is across the conference. And as we've said on this show numerous times, it's a quarterback-driven sport. So when you've got QB1, certainly puts you ahead of the game.
Yeah, to have a returner from last year, this guy who transferred in from Arizona State, and what is he going to do? And he started off kind of running a little too much. He wasn't passing enough, but he grew into that role. And now you have him coming back, which was a bit of a surprise. I think everybody expected he was just going to stay for 1 year. And then they got Garrett Nussmeier to stay. Obviously, Walker Howard left. Jamie Howard, if you want to remember Jamie Howard, who played for LSU, mm-hmm. His son left and went to Ole Miss. But to have a quarterback room with Daniels and Nussmeier in it is kind of a coup for LSU, really. If Jaden gets banged up, they've got a very capable backup in Nussmeier, who they've got him to agree to be the guy for next year. So Jaden's coming back. Very solid stats last year: 2,900 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, only like 3 interceptions. He led them in rushing. First time a player led. Get this stat. First time a player led LSU in passing and rushing since World War II, since Alvin Dark, back in like 1942 or something.
Former Major League Baseball manager.
Yes, that's right. You remember Alvin Dark? Very good.
That's impressive.
And so they probably want him not to be the leading rusher this year. They want him to maybe stay in the pocket a little more and do those things. But it's a good situation to be in. As you talk about the unsettled nature of the SEC and I think including in Alabama, like what are they gonna get out of the quarterback position this year? I think it's an advantage for LSU at this point, despite the fact you got to go to Alabama and play a lot of tough games in the SEC.
They're all tough, as you said, Scott, in the SEC. And kind of looking back at last year, you could maybe make the case. A couple lucky breaks go LSU's way. If those go the other direction, they're maybe sitting at kind of like almost a 7-5. But now this year, it seems like second year for Brian Kelly. It seems like this team, the expectation, especially with quarterback play, like you mentioned, seems like they're always high, obviously, in Baton Rouge. But it seems like this year, with a little bit more of a stacked deck, seems like they're even more ramped up a little bit this year.
I will say this, not saying that I expect this team is going to be like the 2019 team, which obviously was the best team LSU ever had. But this reminds me a little bit of 2019, in that 2018, you had a quarterback transferred in Joe Burrow. They had some ups and downs, but they ended up on a high note. They won the Fiesta Bowl, finished with 10 wins, and they come back with Joe and a lot of guys who he played with on offense, and they did very well. And I think this is a team that has a chance. And as I felt going into 2019, if you've got these 2 huge games with Florida State on September 3rd in Orlando and at Alabama on November 4th, and a lot of other tough games too. But if you can split those 2 games and hold serve in the rest of them, and I think LSU will be favored, at least at this point, in all those other games, you have a shot at making it to the college football playoff, or at least being in position to. You might win the West, and you got to play Georgia again, and would that knock you out? Well, but you still have a chance. So I think there is reason for optimism, guarded optimism for LSU at that point, even though I agree with what Coach Kelly said today in the main room, said that they don't feel like they're totally there yet with a Georgia. They're still trying to close the gap, personnel-wise in some areas.
Scott, I want to ask you, too, about that Florida State game. Obviously, just a bonkers game last year that kind of kicked off the college football season. Seems like Florida State is also a team that has a lot of renewed vigor in their program. How exciting of a matchup is that going to be just for a college football fan in general? Because last year it seems like we could kind of see both of those teams trajecting upward, and now it seems like both teams are at a high level to kick off our season this year.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge game. I mean, it was a big game last year, and then both teams went on to have very good seasons. Florida State went 11-2, and LSU won 10 games and won the West. I think they're both going to be ranked in the preseason top 10. I'm voting on the AP poll again this year, and I would be surprised. I'm going to put them both in the top 10. I would be surprised if they're not. It's a very important game for both teams. I don't think the loser gets knocked out of the national championship, the playoff hunt, but I think you have no margin for error at this point, and the winner really gets elevated to that. But they've got a lot coming back, especially Jordan Travis, a quarterback who was very impressive for them last year. And I think it's they got a starting running back in Trey Benson. I think it's a tough matchup for both teams. And obviously it was a game that LSU felt they could have won. The blocked extra point at the very end. And then so they're already talking. I know Josh Williams, running back, who was here today, was already talking about the motivation they have because they felt like they let that one get away, while as compared to other games where, as you said, the Alabama game could have they could have not completed the pass and they could have lost that game, or a couple other close games. The Arkansas game was a close one too, Auburn. So yeah, it's a huge game for both teams to start, and it's a very exciting one to start the season for LSU.
Scott Rabelais of the Baton Rouge Advocate joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint from SEC Media Days at the Grand Hyatt. Scott, you talked about Jayden Daniels and you talked about the season that he had. It seemed like in mid-season some sort of a switch flip, something clicked. What happened? Because I know that it was a struggle early for him, and LSU folks were kind of wondering, is this the guy? Where do we go if he's not? That kind of thing. What changed?
I think it's just time. Growing in familiarity with the offense, with the players. He came in again as a transfer, and had to learn how to mesh with these guys and find the guys he could count on. And I think you saw a player like Malik Neighbors, who is now being a very highly touted wide receiver in this conference, someone he became kind of a go-to guy for. And Keishawn Butte, you thought would be that guy, and it turned out not to be. He had a very spotty season, and he was off to the NFL. But things just kind of slowed down for him, and he started getting into the progressions more, and not looking just to take off. The Florida State game, he wasn't hardly looking around. He was just maybe he'd check down once and then he's gone. But you saw that changed, and it was just a matter of time and experience. And I think he's a very deliberate's the right word, but very very thoughtful quarterback in that he doesn't throw many interceptions. I mean, he didn't at Arizona State, and he didn't last year with LSU. So I think he protected the ball very well. Had the big fumble against Texas A&M that kind of killed LSU's momentum as they were trying to come back in that game. But overall, gave them a quality season. I think just just grew into a leadership role. I don't think it's Jayden's nature, kind of like Joe Burrow. I don't think it's his personality to say, "Come on, you guys, follow me. We're going to go win some games." I think he had to grow into that role of feeling like he had the right to say, "Follow me." And I think that changed as the season went on. And I think it's certainly a different thing going into this year. Josh Williams, hearing him talk today, said how he's seen that growth in Jayden. And as some guys want, they want to be led, and they want their quarterback, especially, to be that guy who can be that person that can galvanize around and go win some football games.
Scott Rabelais here of the Baton Rouge Advocate on Main Street Sports Today. Scott, thanks for taking some time. We're glad we could get you before Feinbaum got you, so we could get all the good answers and he could get whatever's left.
I'm all tapped out for Feinbaum now. Yeah,
we got him warmed up for Feinbaum. Is what we did. Yeah,
got the mind racing.
One time I was on his show. They had me at the SEC championship game between Jeff Foxworthy and Ric Flair. I kid you not. Talk about people are going to, this is a good time for a bathroom break.
You were the voice of reason there then, right? So, yeah,
it was an interesting position to be in, that's for sure.
Well, Scott, thanks again for taking time with us. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a 30-second break. More about LSU right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Stick right around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7. Service, call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service, call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Mealy as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Welcome into this special edition of Main Street Sports Today. We are excited about this next segment because we get a chance to sit down with, and Mo, you knew this was coming. You knew we'd find somebody from Alabama to sit down.
Well, of course. I mean, last year we found somebody from Lebanon when we were over down in Alabama. Somebody from Lebanon to talk LSU. So it's your turn. It's fair.
It is, in fact. And this segment is brought to you by Sam Knowlton at Jeff Grimes and Associates. Tell us about them.
Absolutely. Our coverage of Missouri Tigers here from SEC Media Days brought to you by Samuel Knowlton Jr. at Jeff Grimes and Associates in Clarksville. Samuel Knowlton Jr. is a U.S. Navy and Army National Guard veteran, a retired Clarksville, Tennessee police officer, and currently the Tennessee State Secretary of the Fraternal Order of Police, as well as attorney at law in Clarksville. As an attorney, Sam concentrates his legal practice in the area of family law, handling a large variety of family law cases from both divorce, contested and uncontested, custody, paternity, child support, and neglect cases. Call Samuel today at 931-906-0088 and protect your family.
Chris, thanks for taking some time with us today, man. Talk a little bit about the Missouri Tigers. Exciting times over there in Como.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Chris Abrams-Drain, a junior cornerback out of Mobile, played his high school ball at Spanish Fort, and it's been a road to cornerback for you.
A long road to cornerback.
Played receiver and quarterback at Spanish Fort, came to Como as a receiver. Just talk about your transition from throwing it to catching it to trying to catch somebody else's.
So my senior year, I knew I wasn't going to college to play quarterback because I was an athlete. But our quarterback, I think he had got hurt at the time, and I was the backup quarterback. So I just had to fill in. But when I got to Como, I was a receiver, and like COVID, it was COVID season, so people was opting out and people was getting sick, and we didn't have no DBs left. And I was like, if I get in the game, I'll play.
That's one way to do it.
There you go.
And I got there, I played the whole game, and I just stuck with it.
Started 12 games at corner last year, as well as returning. Getting that base, what are your expectations for you individually heading into this season?
I'm trying to repeat the same thing I did last year, but better, have better stats.
As you come into this season, just kind of walk us through, how has the offseason been? What have you been working on individually? What have you seen, particularly your close teammates, your unit mates in the secondary? What have you guys been working on individually this offseason?
We just been working on the key fundamentals of stance and start. We've been working on backpedaling. We've been working on like a lot of stuff with our because the coaches ain't there with us, so we have to do like player led. So that give us like a lot of time to connect with our teammates, the new teammates, and the transfer.
We got to ask. I love asking our students. Did you get a little bit of a summer mixed in amongst all that, or were you 100% football the whole time?
I gotta have a little summer. I got a son. He's 3, so I spend time with him as much as I can.
Now, is he there with you in Como then, or is he back in Mobile?
He's in Mobile.
Okay. I've driven to Mobile. It's not a short drive from here. How long is it from Como to Mobile?
It's 11 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's worth it, though. I can assure you. Now, Chris Abrams-Drain here with us on Main Street Sports today. Chris, not only was your route to cornerback kind of windy and curvy, but your route to Missouri was windy and curvy. You originally committed to LSU, then to Ole Miss. What was it about Missouri that made it the place for you?
At the time, it was a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I wasn't like really focused on school that much, so my grades started slipping. And I was starting to take official visits, and people was taking their offers away from me and stuff. But when Coach Drink first got the job, he came to my school and talked to my mom and stuff. He was like, if you can qualify, we're gonna take you. And I said, I'll qualify. He kept his word, so I kept my word with him.
So that's exciting because obviously with the way college recruiting is these days, especially in 2020, it was very awkward and weird.
Yeah.
So to find a home with Coach Drinkwitz and this Missouri club, how do you feel like this season stacks up for Missouri coming off of a tough year? You guys got a chance to make some waves. What can we expect from the Missouri Tigers?
I feel like we don't really worry about what everybody else expect, but we got to just go do our job basically. Because at the end of the day, if we don't do our job, nothing gonna work. So we just got to take one game at a time and 1 week at a time and just go at it like that.
Chris, you talked about moving from receiver to corner at Missouri. 10 starts as a sophomore, started all 12 games last year. clearly, once you got over there, you kind of embraced it.
Yeah, it's like I'm just competitive. Like I felt like with no technique at all my first year, you still not finna catch the ball on me because that's how much I just competitive like that. I grew up doing one-on-ones like toe to toe, so like it was like normal to me.
3 interceptions, 7 breakups as a sophomore, 14 breakups last year. Nose for the ball.
Yeah, I'm so used to having the ball in my hand. I just feel like I need it.
Just go and get it. Now we got to break something a little to you here. Mo and Chris, Mo and myself, we're MTSU guys. You guys got Middle Tennessee second game of the year. Are you going to take it easy on our Blue Raiders, or are you guys out for blood on September 9th?
We out for blood, but I got a story about that Middle Tennessee. They was they offered me when I had left Tennessee, but like I liked it that I don't know if it's the same coaches there or not. But yeah, I liked that little setup they had.
Mark it down, revenge game there for Chris on September 9th.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that all of a sudden. I wish you hadn't brought that up.
My apologies, folks.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you taking some time with us today and looking forward to watching you on the sidelines. What's it like being here in Nashville for SEC Media Days? It's a circus, huh?
It's crazy. I didn't know it was going to be like this. It's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm glad I get to see some people that we play, see how big they got this offseason.
Good little scouting, huh?
There you have it, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris Abrams-Draine, cornerback at Missouri. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers. Chris, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Chris.
Family law, you need an experienced attorney you can trust. Samuel Knowlton Jr. at Jeff Grimes and Associates is here to help. With years of experience in family law, divorce, custody, and criminal defense, we know how to get results. As a U.S. Navy and National Guard veteran, as well as a retired Clarksville police officer, Samuel brings a unique perspective to every case. Put your family in the hands of a team you can trust. Call today at 931-906-0088 or visit gsclegal.com.
Welcome back in. More exclusive coverage of SEC Football Media Days coming to you live from the Grand Hyatt here with Main Street Sports Today's Mo Patton, Wade Neely beside us or between us, Chris Yao.
Beside us. He's beside both of us.
Both of us. That's right. We've got more.
Right where we need to be.
That's right. And we've got more on Missouri coming your way right now. We just spoke with Chris Abrams-Draine, the quarterback, receiver turned cornerback, and what a story he's got.
And doing it pretty well, man.
Phil Steele, all SEC first team cornerback, according to Phil Steele.
Along with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Hey, Alabama High School is turning out cornerbacks like you wouldn't believe.
There you go.
How about that? Well, let's talk a little bit about Missouri, and we'll go over their schedule. And Missouri, you guys mentioned it, Middle Tennessee State in week 2 after hosting South Dakota to start the year on August 31st. Their first 3 games are in Como before they meet Memphis and St. Louis, by the way. That's a heck of a trip. But this is not a great way to start the year if you're trying to get on track as Missouri, because obviously we saw what MTSU did last year at Miami. So long as Alabama doesn't beat them up too much, they got a shot.
Well, and it would not be unprecedented for Middle Tennessee State to go to Como.
No.
And beat the Tigers.
That's right.
It
has
happened before.
I'm surprised they let them come back.
All right.
So,
yeah. I'm surprised you'd want them to come back.
That's right. I can't believe they're even allowing it.
Yeah, you're thinking of all the teams we had to bring these guys back up here.
It must have been a second part of that contract or something. I don't know.
Or it was a different AD.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. You got South Dakota. You feel like that's a winnable game. Middle Tennessee State is not an unwinnable game.
I don't know that South Dakota is the pushover that you would expect when you're talking about a Southeastern Conference team against a FCS team.
Yeah. Now this is not the Jackrabbits,
Is it,
right?
Is it not?
No. Hold on.
Are the Jackrabbits South Dakota State?
I think so.
That is correct.
Oh, my bad.
But however, South Dakota is not exactly a slouch. I will come to your aid there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know what they've done recently. They went to the playoffs last year and lost to Southern Illinois.
They went to the playoffs. I mean,
but they did go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
playoffs.
Yeah. So you're right. You figure that's a pretty winnable game to start. MTSU, more than likely let's be honest, it's a winnable game.
A win.
It should be a winnable game for Missouri at home.
And then,
but
and then you welcome Kansas State. By the way, defending Big 12 champion Kansas State.
And then you're playing Memphis in St. Louis.
Right. Memphis is, I mean, this is not the non-conference schedule that you want if you're a team looking to try to get back to bowl eligibility and find a way to, build some momentum going into SEC play.
And then you open SEC play by coming here and taking on Clark Lee and the Vanderbilt Commodores. And Vanderbilt, I don't care what anybody says, I will not be shocked if Vanderbilt's not 5-0 going into that ball game.
I would agree. 5-0. Oh, that's right. They play Hawaii first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They could be. I think at worst they're 3-2. And Missouri, I think
at best,
is
3-1.
At best. And I just don't know that's even, I mean, that'd be tough to get there.
Here's the thing. Look at this. You look at the 4 games we just rattled off. I don't know you're going to find a tougher schedule with no team outside of maybe Kansas State who might start the season ranked just based on last year. None of those 4 teams probably going to be ranked, but that is about as tough of a unranked schedule as you could have, like both of you guys have said, to start this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a very sneaky game here in Nashville to kick off your SEC campaign.
Right.
Then you get LSU to back up that.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, Missouri just it's going to be one punch after the other. It's going to be a tough year for Eli Drinkwitz,
who was recently extended in his own right, by the way, not having made a bowl game yet.
Here's the thing. If they are 3-1 coming through those first 4, I don't know where they get another 3 to get bowl eligible.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, South Carolina, those are
okay.
I mean, I don't know.
That's 2.
Those are iffy. And then after that, Florida maybe. I mean, I don't know about Florida. I just don't know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them later this week for sure.
Yeah, we will.
But I mean, second year of Billy Napier, you're kind of, I think you're iffy on it.
No Anthony Richardson, though.
No Anthony Richardson. I mean, they'd have to win every iffy game to get there.
Mm-hmm.
They do return 15 starters, which will help a little bit.
Yeah.
And I misspoke a moment ago. They obviously have been to some bowl games recently, but the winning record, they still got some work to do to really crank out those
They lost to Wake
season.
Forest in the Gasparilla Bowl, I think, to finish 6-7 last year. So,
an uphill climb for these Missouri Tigers, but who do have talent, like we've said. We just had a great conversation with a preseason all-SEC caliber cornerback who's really not even a cornerback.
And they return their quarterback, by the way. Brady Cook comes back. He's a returning starter, which I think is important. In this league this year?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely.
Even having a little experience, is a huge coup this year.
Well, this league,
yes.
It's going to be tough for the folks in Como. But you know what? If they can navigate that first 5, come out 4-1 maybe, they got a shot. You got a little momentum going, then you just got to hope that LSU doesn't break it. Now, if LSU breaks it and then you go into Kentucky, South Carolina reeling, it's over.
Yeah, because again, that last 4 of the year, you finish at Georgia, at home against Tennessee, at home against Florida, and at Fayetteville against Arkansas.
That's right.
That's good luck with that.
No question. So there you go.
The odds makers, for what it's worth.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
6.5 is their
over-under
win total this season.
That's right on it.
Wow. Yeah, it's absolutely right on it.
I mean, it would be hard to do bowl games.
I don't think
count
I'd
for
mess
that?
with that.
Or is it
Bowl
just
games
regular?
would count, hypothetically, yeah.
No,
that's a stay away from me.
Yeah, that's a complete stay away. Yeah,
no.
That's a no
Hard
bet.
pass.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that is going to do it for our Missouri Tigers segment. Wade, tell us about our friends at the law office of Jeff Grimes and Associates.
Absolutely. Missouri Tiger coverage live from SEC Media Days brought to you by Samuel Naughton Jr. at Jeff Grimes and Associates in Clarksville. Samuel Naughton Jr. is a U.S. Navy and Army National Guard veteran, a retired Clarksville, Tennessee police officer, currently the Tennessee State Secretary of the Fraternal Order Police, and an attorney at law in Clarksville. As an attorney, Sam concentrates his legal practice in the area of family law. He has handled a large variety of family law cases ranging from divorce, both contested and uncontested, custody, paternity, child support, and neglect cases. So call Samuel today at 931-906-0088 and protect your family.
More from SEC Media Days on Main Street Sports Today, each day at 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Come back with us.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
If you're looking to buy or sell in Dickson County, Tennessee, call Tim Southerland at Rolling Hills Realty. As a seasoned realtor, Tim knows how to get you the best price for your home. Selling your home is one of the biggest decisions you'll make, so trust the expert. Call Tim Southerland today at 615-720-1568 or visit rollinghillsrealtydixon.com.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.